Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. I've had a great weekend. Um, it's been. I almost, to be honest, I almost forgot that I had. I posted all that stuff, and I was so involved in watching a documentary that I was watching. I almost forgot. I literally had to run and go and do my thing because I was like, oh my god, I think I have a live right now. So so I nearly missed it, which would have been tragic. I'm just sharing the live for everybody. So hopefully everybody comes on. I think today's is going to be a fun one. So if you miss it, I feel bad for you because this one's going to be a fun one. I decided to do this one on glitches in the matrix because it's something that has been coming up a lot lately on my feed and stuff. So, oh my God, I so need to do my hair. I need to go and do my hair. So, if you guys are coming in, just say hi. How you doing? And where you guys are watching from. Usually it takes a bit for everybody to see that I'm on, which takes a little while. Hopefully everybody gets a notification. So I'm actually going to be starting to do some of my lives. I'm going to change up now that we're going into the summer months. Just now that we're going into the summer months, I'm going to be changing up some of my. I'm going to be changing up some of the stuff. So there's going to be a lot of changes. But hello, hello, Martha. I'm like choking because this is funny. My friend who's from Long Island, she has clearly a Long Island accent. She's on here. Her name is Kathy, and she was talking to me about something, and she's like, "Martha." The way she said it, it just made me laugh because I have family that's in Massachusetts. In Fall River, Massachusetts, and they have a very strong accent. And I just remember telling one of my sister-in-law's friends that we were possibly going to go to see Martha's Vineyards, and she goes, "Martha's Vineyards," like the way she said it, and it was just hilarious that the way they said it. So of course, my friend said Martha, and yesterday, and today, I saw about 7 or 8 different Marthas. So yeah, so from now on, I will always be saying Martha. That's how I'm going to see it. So hi, Rebecca, welcome. I love the face. That's amazing. Um, so hopefully everybody gets this notification. If not, we're just going to start and people can catch it on the they can catch it on the replay. But this is we're going to be talking about glitches in the matrix, and I decided that I was going to hi Lee. We're going to be talking about again, I keep starting, we're going to be talking about glitches in the matrix, and this might be a glitch. So, welcome. This is going to be called the spiritual tea that we're going to call this. So, I'm psychic medium Bella Silva Casilis. I'm an intuitive. I'm a medium. I'm a psychic. I'm a spiritual teacher. And tonight, I'm a personal glitch detective. So, hi, Colleen. And we're going to be diving into the very weird, very real world of glitches in the Matrix. Those moments where reality blends, blips, or straight up breaks. You know that moment when you see something vanish or you feel like you've lived a moment before? That's what we're talking about tonight. And yes, I've got receipts and I've got my reactions. So make yourself comfy, say hi in the chat, and let's get into it. So I'm going to give you a little background about what is a glitch in the matrix. That's where we're going to be starting off. So let's start off with the basics. A glitch in the matrix is something when when something in reality doesn't behave the way it should. Time skips, weird deja vus, objects moving, or even strangers knowing things they shouldn't. But here's the spiritual scoop: these aren't just blips randomly. They can be psychic downloads, timeline shifts, spiritual nudges, or previews of your future self. They're not just weird, they're often scared. So, we're going to go through a couple of different stories that I've found, and I kind of forgot some of them. So, we're going to go through some of them, and I'm going to give you my little blip on it, and please comment on it as well. I'd love to hear your your views as well, and if you have any questions on them, we'll go through them. So, story number one, it's called The Stranger Who Knew My Nickname. So, this story comes from a woman named Jess. She's at a dinner party, not her usual crowd, just a friend of a friend kind of thing. She's mingling, talking to people, and this guy walks up to her out of nowhere and says, "Hi, Bubbles. Would you like a refill?" And she froze because that nickname, Bubbles, that's what her grandpa used to call her when she was little, before he passed. No one has called her that in years, not even her close friends. She kind of laughed it off and asks, "Why did you call me that?" And the guy shrugs and says, "You just look like a Bubbles." He never speaks to her again the whole night. Just that moment, that was it. So, my breakdown on this is that that wasn't a coincidence. That was a spirit calling card. Spirit uses strangers, songs, billboards, whatever it takes to grab your attention. That name was downloaded with meaning for her. It wasn't random, it was intentional spirit interference. This is what it's called a soul nudge, when a spirit pokes you in a way that only you would understand. So that wasn't a coincidence at all. So story number two. Let me know in the comments if you guys ever had anybody out of nowhere just come up to you and say something random that only you would have known. Because we'd like to do a deep dive on that one. Story number two is the car that disappeared mid-turn. Okay, so this one gave me chills the first time I read it. A woman named Tara is driving home on a quiet Sunday afternoon. She's behind a red sedan, nothing out of the ordinary. They approach a long road that turns right, with no intersections or driveways nearby. The red car makes the turn and she follows just a few seconds later. But when she gets around the bend, the car is gone. Not slowed down, not pulled over. There's nowhere it could have gone. She stops. She even gets out and looks around. No tire tracks, no sounds, nothing. It's like the car vanished into thin air. So, I've heard of versions of this before and I've experienced something like this myself. This is classic timeline slip energy. What can happen during a moment of intense presence or subtle vibrational shift is that you tune into a different version of reality. Some call it reality overlapping. It's like catching a glimpse of a channel you're not supposed to be tuned into and then flipping it back. And yes, spirit might use moments like that to pull your awareness higher, especially when you're on the edge of a spiritual breakthrough. So it's almost like looking through a window into another, into like a window into another dimension kind of thing. So it's that similar thing. So I know I've had stuff happen to me and it kind of just comes back. Not that I've ever said anything to anybody, because people usually go with, oh no, that, you kind of convince yourself that it didn't happen because your brain looks for a logical answer and there's no answer. So you just kind of convince yourself that it didn't happen. But it did. So, so if so I got a couple announcements while we're waiting for more people to join. Hopefully more people do join. But I do have a couple of announcements before we go on, and I have a couple more stories for you. But if things like this, stories and stuff like that, this stuff really interests you, then I'm going to announce my new circle. Finally, I got it all together, built it out. It's called the Inner Glow Circle, is what I'm calling it. And this is my signature spiritual development program. It's going to be open. It's going to be once a month. It starts every first Sunday of the month. So the very first time it's going to be happening is June 1st. And if you're wanting to develop your psychic abilities, understanding spirit communication, and hang out with intuitive soul family, this is for you. Also, there's another, the first Beyond the Veil private VIP, which is happening now in April, is completely sold out. So I decided to do one in May as well. And this one's called Sacred Night Under the Stars. And this one's going to be happening. This one is going to be happening in May. I think it's May 30th or May 26th. It's a Saturday. And this one's going to be, again, another one that's outside. Again, it's limited to only 12 people, and everyone gets a reading that night. So tickets are on sale for that one as well now. And I believe there's a coupon for $5 off. Cooper's Hawk. We just announced, we're going to be announcing for Cooper's Hawk. Cooper's Hawk is going to be happening the day before Mother's Day. It's on a Saturday, May 10th. And this was going to be really interesting because it's going to be a haunted walk with wine tasting as well as readings. So it's going to be really interesting. So when I started at Cooper's Hawk, there was different spirits that made themselves known to me throughout the time that it's been there, because I've been doing quite a bit of readings there. I've been there for over a year now at Cooper's Hawk, I think. And there's been different spirits that have introduced themselves to me from different eras. Some were connected, they were family, and some were not. They're just, the one thing that's in common is the land. So the owner kind of came up with an idea of, why don't we do the ghosts of Cooper's Hawk? And I was like, that's an awesome idea. So I got together with the staff there, Barb, she's great. And I said, can I pick the wines out to taste? Because the spirits actually have a particular one that they want. It's like the spirits want the spirits. And she says, yeah, go ahead. So I ended up picking out the 4 different wines that we're going to be tasting, and they are all connected to the 4 different spirits. So we're going to be doing it's going to be very interacting. I'll be doing readings in between as well. So it's different. It's going to be fun. So tickets are on sale for that now. So all of the information is on my website, psychicmediumbella.com. So I hope to see you guys all there. So story number 3, it's called The Mirror That Showed a Different Version of Me. Now I've seen a couple of different ones of this, and these are freaking scary sometimes. So this one is subtle, but so powerful. A woman named Dana checks into a boutique hotel while traveling for work. It's this older place with a vintage vibe. Real mirrors with ornate gold frames. She's getting ready for bed, brushing her teeth, nothing dramatic. But when she looks up into the mirror, something feels off immediately. She's looking at herself, same pajamas, same hair, same bathroom lighting, but her reflection isn't quite right. The expression in the mirror is confident, calm, like a version of her who's already healed, already happy. This version of her is standing a little taller, smiling ever so slightly. Dana says it's only lasted a few seconds, but she was rooted to the spot. And then, just like that, her reflection blinked and reset back to her tired, stressed out self. She said it freaked her out, but also left her weirdly inspired, like she saw someone she could become. So, this is one of my favorites ones because what she saw might have been her higher self. Mirrors are not just glass and silver. They are energetic portals. Ancient cultures knew this. It's why they covered mirrors after someone passed. That version of her wasn't fake or imagined. It was a glimpse of a future, more aligned timeline. Spirit loves using moments like this to remind us who we really are. When you're close to stepping into something powerful, sometimes your soul gives you a peek, a pink. They give you a pink of it, a peek of it. Good Lord. I must be really tired today. Um, Story number 4. Before I do story number 4, which um on this exact same story, and again, it was a glitch in a matrix. There was another story I just saw actually 2 days ago, and it was around the same thing, where this girl was talking about how she, and I'm pretty sure it was like in the mirror as well. She was brushing her teeth. She looked in the mirror and she said she saw herself, but it was almost dreamlike. Hi, Dana. It was almost dreamlike. She said she was looking in the mirror and it was almost like she was having a dream, and she saw herself because in the reality that she is in right now, she actually is married. She has 2 children, and she has a different career. And she says she's happy. She's like, she wouldn't change the decision she made. She loves her children and everything else. She's like, but in the reality that she got to see in the mirror, and in a dream state that she was in, she said she looked different. She said it was like the version of her if she had changed and went down the original path that she was intending to. Because apparently her original plan was not to be married, not to have children, and actually go to law school and become a lawyer. So she said she remembered looking out of this apartment with like huge windows, and she's looking out, and in that she says she looks across and she says she saw a huge billboard of Aaliyah, the singer who had died in the plane accident years ago. She says she saw Aaliyah, and she goes, and Leah looked like her, except she was older, of course, because Aaliyah died when she was young. She was in her early 20s. She goes, she would have been whatever age that she would have been now, probably her early 40s or 30s or something. And she said it was a billboard, and she wasn't selling her album, but she was like selling her skincare line. And she goes, and I could see it. It was outside of my window in a skyscraper. And she said, and she says, I knew it was my life that I would have had if I hadn't chosen to get married and have children. She goes, I was single. I was a lawyer, which is what her original path was. And she says, and it was kind of like I saw what would have happened if I would have made that choice. Why it was showed to her, I don't know, but she was just like, it was a glitch in the matrix. She got to see that other side of it, that mirror side of her. This is the other thing that you have that you could have done. So and she was just freaking out about it. So I've got another, I'm going to read number 4, and then I got another one, which this one I saw it, and you're welcome, Kathy. I saw it and I was just like, oh my God, I have never, this is the one where I haven't seen 2 different people being able to acknowledge being in the same timeline. This one's weird. So, but we're going to do number 4. The receipt from the future. All right, this one is so good and totally messes with your idea of time. A woman named Elise goes to grab something from her purse. She's looking for gum or hand sanitizer, and she pulls out a receipt. She stares at it, confused, because the store is her usual grocery store, but the items she hasn't bought them, not yet. Bananas, yogurt, a very specific oat milk. She always forgets to grab a very specific oatmeal that she always forgets to grab. Same total she usually spends. And here's the kicker: the timestamp says tomorrow at 2:03 p.m. So she's got a receipt for the next day, but she hasn't even gone to the store yet. She laughs it off, thinking maybe it's a mix-up or a old one. She crumples it and tosses it aside. But the next day at 2:03 p.m., she's at the store and buys exactly what was on the receipt. Total matches, time matches. She said it felt like she was following a script someone else had written. So, my breakdown on it is this is what is called a future echo. Time is not this straight line we pretend it is. It's layered, looping, and sometimes our higher self or spirit guides drop a breadcrumb from the future to align us. She might have tuned into her future self briefly, or, and I love this, her future self might have been sending her a message backwards to show her she's on the right path. Clearly, get the oat milk. It's like getting a psychic sticky note from the universe saying, yep, this is where you're headed. So, the last one that I'm going to tell you about is kind of a weird thing because I saw the original story. This guy posted it, and he talked about how his father, and this is like 20 years ago, in this guy's reality, because he's now an adult and his father's passed. He said that his dad was working at a gas station. And all of a sudden, he came in and he said he was working that night. And all of a sudden, three strangers walked in. Two women and a man walked in to get gas. This is somewhere in Florida, I think. And the gas station is kind of like in the middle of nowhere. So he says these two people walked in. He says the only thing that the people didn't look like they were from his time because the time would have been in his reality in 1970s in the mid 70s. And these people, he says he could tell that they were from the future, and it startled him. Now, he was a kid, and he remember his dad coming home and telling him the story about these people coming in for gas, um, and his thing from the future, and them gassing him up and having a conversation with him. And he said that they really didn't. They had a hard time believing the father because the father was an alcoholic. He was off and on alcoholic, drugs. So they were just thought, it's just something. Dad was high or something was going on. So they didn't really believe him. Cut to, I read this story like 5 days ago, a week ago. Cut to 2 days ago. The people that the three people that were in that gas station commented on the story and said we were the three people that encountered this man. And they told the story how they had gone to, I think it was Florida, for a funeral of a family member. And they drove. And on the way back, they decided there was just one gas station out of middle nowhere. And she said, the girl that was driving said, I don't even know why we decided to, because it was kind of off of the beaten path. And she said, I don't even know why we decided to go off of like kind of like the highway a little bit into this area. But she says we did. We went off and I said to, she goes, we went to the bathroom. We get in there. She goes, and it looks kind of strange. She's like, this guy behind the counter, he's just standing there staring at us and not saying anything with this blank look on our face. So she says, my sister went to go use the bathroom. She goes, and then my brother went to go, I think he was gassing up or whatever. And she was walking around. She goes, now it never dawned on her to look through and look at the packages or whatever and see the dates. That wasn't something she thought of. She goes, it just looked old and run down, the gas station. So she went over and they gassed him up and they gave the guy the money. And his expression, she said, never changed. It was a very weird expression. So they then get back in their car and they have this conversation because now they're scared and they're like, I don't know what the hell's going on with this guy. He's kind of a weird guy. She goes, we get back on the highway. She goes, we start driving. And all of a sudden they start going and they've gone now, I don't know, probably like 10 minutes down the road, 15 minutes down the road. And all of a sudden they start to see this gas station on the side of the road. It's the same gas station, except this time the guy is now standing like in the window or something. So they kind of pull up a little bit and then they see the same guy and they're like, what the hell? Like, how did there's no loop on the road? We didn't turn around. We're just heading straight. So why are we going by this same gas station? So they continue going down the road again, and next thing you know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, the same gas station comes on the side again. This guy, I think the guy, which is this guy's father, is now standing outside of the gas station, up front, still with a blank look on his face, and they're getting scared because it's like the same gas station. They're trying to figure out how they keep looping around. They ended up looping around, I think, 3 or 4 times. And then she finally said the last time they looped around, the gas station now looked run down and like it was completely closed. Like it was never open. And she said, and it was the last time that they kind of came around and they noticed that it was run down and completely open, that they finally were able to get on the road and continue on. So they had talked about being stuck in a glitch, in like a loop, a matrix glitch loop, and kept going around and around and around until finally it was letting them out. And it was just kind of a weird thing that they were able to find each other. So the guy was asking because he said, I think my dad was in a matrix glitch and they didn't 100%, and he wanted to keep anonymous because he didn't 100% believe it. But then the people who were in, and apparently it happened, this is the thing that was weird. To the guy, he was talking about it as when he was a child, which would have been in like the mid 70s, 1970s. These people were talking about meeting this guy, I think literally a couple years ago, or maybe even last year. So the timelines don't match, but the people remember seeing each other, and it's a weird glitch in the matrix. So somewhere along the lines, their timelines got crossed. And the thing is, the guy didn't even remember the name of the garage anymore, and the thing. And these people they don't remember the name of the garage either. But it wasn't until they finally were able to get back on their own timeline when they went by and saw that the garage was completely broken, like completely. There was no garage there. So how the hell did they even gas up their car? It's beyond me. And she's like, we were finally able to get back on the road and get home. And she's like, we never stopped again. So it really made an impression on them, clearly. So I just want to know: has anybody experienced? I mean, these are extreme, but has anybody experienced any of these things, or even something like a deja vu? Or I've had one of the things that the most popular ones that I tend to see is someone having two of one item, knowing full well that they only bought one of them, and all of a sudden another one shows up. They have no idea where it came from, because they didn't buy a second one, but they have two of the same item, and they're trying to figure out, and it's a glitch in the matrix that they call it. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of the timeline jumps a lot of times. And we're starting to see this with celebrities. So you must all see celebrities where, we're starting to realize those ones now is because the celebrities, they look one way, the way that we know them, and then all of a sudden they're starting to look a little different. Still the same person, but they look slightly off. And it's not really plastic surgery. So it's like, what's going on? What's going on? Love to know what's going on. But we're seeing a lot of those lately. So it's either timeline jumps or glitches somewhere. Hold on, I got to get my glasses for Rebecca. This is what happens when you get old. Once when I was a child, I went to an airplane museum, and my father told me I knew my way around and was familiar with the name of some of the planes. Probably because you were a pilot in one of your timelines. A lot of times people we talk about past lives a lot, but past lives are also glitches in the matrix. Because sometimes you'll remember certain things because we call them past lives, but it could be another reality that you were in. So there's it's so random, some of the things that happen, and I don't have a lot of um, I'm limited with some of I'm limited with some of the knowledge that I have, just because of the fact that I might not have the ability to understand a lot of this stuff. So they like to show it to you slowly, because otherwise they'll just blow your mind with a lot of this stuff. And I have to be able to and believe me, it's not that I don't ask, I do. I'm like, show me it. And one time I was just like, no, show me, I think I'll understand it, I understand it, I'll understand it. And then they showed me some stuff and I was like, no, you're right, I don't understand it. Had no clue what I was talking about. It just literally, it was so confusing that my mind shut down. And I was like, stop showing me things, I don't understand that. And so they were just like, see, so you're going to start showing, we're going to start showing you stuff, little thing at a time. So it's almost like um, drips, small little drips. They'll send me small little drips so that I'm able to digest it, because I am human, um, to digest it, to be able to understand it, and then put it into practice and explain it to people as well. But um, the knowledge that I have is very little compared to all the stuff that's out there. And still, there's still a lot of stuff that I can't explain. So there's a lot of overlapping of stuff, and it all depends. And they always talk about how it's based on your decisions, and that whole thing where it's like your future is written in sand, not in stone. That's the reason. So, Sandra, I had deja vu a lot, especially with conversations, like in the middle of a conversation. I know I've had that conversation already. It's really weird. I just glitched. Wow, Dana. Yeah, Sandra, I have it too. I'll have the conversation a lot too. And sometimes the fact that you get that deja vu and you're like, whoa, and it kind of freaks you out, it sometimes limits, because your mind's been knocked out of it, and you have a hard time. You have a hard time. That's weird. I did a big time glitch. Wow. Talking about glitches in the matrix. Wow. um I don't know what to say to that. But sometimes, because sometimes if you don't freak yourself out, you'll be able to see how it plays out, like the deja vu. But a lot of times we end up going, whoa, I already had this conversation. And you just kind of like knock yourself out of whatever it is. um so that is weird that I just glitched. This is, it's not a coincidence, my friend. I because on my end it doesn't show it. So I wonder what timeline I jumped into. um so if you guys don't see me here tomorrow, no, I'm kidding. I will be here. Okay, so That's great, you guys. Does anyone else want to share a story? I've had a lot of them where to me, with mine, I it usually ends up being a dream. It looks very dreamlike with mine. So a lot of times I will be doing something and it's kind of like a deja vu, but I am physically aware of it. I'll be in the middle of doing something and it's almost like I feel like I'm in the dream, but I'm actually awake at this point. And then it takes me a moment sometimes to bring myself back and figure out, where am I? Like, what is exactly am I? Because it will be so real that like the people will be there that I will be talking to, and I know exactly who I'm talking to. So it's happened. The more you open up, it's happened quite a bit with me, and I'm sure it probably will happen more and more. Um, and so there's a couple times where I feel like I'm almost an observer, and I'm just looking around at different things and trying to figure out what timeline I'm in, because I'm like, I'm a little confused. Um, and the conversations are just happening around me, and then I kind of, it's almost like all of a sudden you hear a vacuum go, and you just kind of like, okay, am I back? Am I here? I'm here, and I'm present, and this is all happening in my mind, and people must be just thinking that I'm looking at them like I'm very interested in what they're saying, and I am, but in my head I'm going, holy shit, what the hell happened? Yeah, it comes in different ways. Premonitions. I'll get sometimes a premonition as well. Sometimes it's something that's it's kind of a weird thing. It's just very strange. Not so strange anymore because I've had it happen quite a bit, and you just got to let it play out. It's almost like a reel that plays out in your head, and you just got to let it go. And sometimes I'm wake up from a dream and I'm thinking, oh my god, that was seems so real. And sometimes it's in the day. It's what happens. So I mean, not too long ago, we glitched, and they were talking about us jumping into a due timeline, because then all of a sudden all these different deaths started coming up, and the one that freaked me was Richard Simmons. In my one timeline, Richard Simmons already had died. Mr. Simmons and Dr. Ruth already had died. And then all of a sudden, in this new timeline that we just jumped in, it was Richard Simmons died, and then Dr. Ruth died, and then Shannon Doherty died. And in mine, the old timeline, Shannon Doherty was doing fine. The cancer had come back, but she was doing fine. So it was it's very weird. I have a nephew who was less than 2 years old, wake up screaming. And when we confronting him, he was talking about Nana. Now, he never met Nana because she passed away long before he was born, but then distinctly pointed her in a picture that we didn't even realize she was in. Kids, child, usually about 5 year after 5 years old, it's a little harder for them, because then um they're around other people, and they're not as open. But children, 2 years old for sure, they're very open. So yes, he would have been with Nana. He would have known Nana, especially if Nana died before he was even born. He would have met Nana on a soul level. So yes, for sure, he would have known who Nana was. And he probably continued seeing Nana for a while. She was a comfort to him. So that's very true, Craig. That he would have seen her, he would have continued seeing her. Whether or not he's still, whether or not he continues seeing her, she continues, appearing to him. That she probably will pop in every so often when he needs some comfort from her. But I usually find that after the age of 5 or 6, kids will tend to kind of shut down. They're not as open anymore. Then a few later, I went to a psychic, and the psychic told me all about this episode and how my mom created him and is with him. She told you about your nephew screaming and how your mom created him and is with him. I don't know about that. If that's what she got, I mean, I'm not going to argue with it, but um, she wouldn't have created him. Your mom wouldn't have created him. Yeah, you don't. A spirit, which is a human, um, doesn't create another one. That's the universal. That's the universe. That's God energy. That's what does the creation. So, her being with him and guiding him and being protective of him, yes, 100%. So, and your mom is definitely with you. I mean, your mom is with you as well. She's always around you. That's 100%. She's always around all her loved ones. She pops in ever so often. So that's correct. That is correct in that sense. Um, but yeah. So does anybody else have any more questions? It doesn't have to be about the Matrix. Just questions about anything. Just post your questions. Oh, I nearly choked on the water. Post your questions in the comments. Oh, you think that's what you meant? Okay. When I dream, I am always in my house or in my town, but it looks different than real life. But in my dreams, it always looks the same. Not sure if that could be considered a glitch in a matrix or a glitch or another matrix. No, that's exactly how I do it too. When I'm dreaming about something, or if I'm, whatever it is that I'm doing, I am in my town as well. It looks different. Sometimes it looks a little sharper. Even the people, they look like them, but they look a little different. They sound like them, except they sound a little different. So it's almost like it's a different version of them. And yeah, it very much well is a glitch in the matrix. So so yeah, that's 100%. It's the same thing that happens to me. It's something that's unexplainable that you can't. Um, there was someone that I think it was something that they had lost. It was kind of weird. I don't know if it was me. I'm trying to think if it was me or if it was someone else, because I get people that tell me stuff all the time, and then things that happen to myself, and I get confused. I can't say it was me because I don't know 100%. But the story is, it was a coffee mug, and it was this person's favorite coffee mug. Um, and they always put the coffee mug in the same place. It was their coffee mug. People knew not to take their coffee mug. It wasn't me because I have a favorite coffee mug, but I'm not that particular. They used to put it in the same place all the time. And all of a sudden, they went to go look for the coffee mug that they always have, whatever it was, and they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it for 2 days. Now, meanwhile, they couldn't find it, so like they got mad at their husband and their family. They were asking for it. Where's my coffee mug? Where's the coffee mug? Looking everywhere. They tore the house apart looking for this lady's coffee mug. Could not find it. It was lost for 2 days. She had convinced herself that someone had broken the coffee mug, which is the logical answer. Someone broke the coffee mug, didn't own up to it, and threw it away. And that's really what was making her more mad, because it's like, if you broke the coffee mug, just tell me, be truthful. Don't lie and say you didn't do it. And people are like, the kids are swearing up and down that nothing happened. They didn't touch it. They always know that's mom's favorite coffee mug. They're not going to touch it. It was gone, I think, for at least 2 or 3 days, to the point where she had gone out and bought this other coffee mug, and she went to go use the coffee mug. She poured coffee in this new mug, and she's complaining about the new mug because it wasn't the old one. And she turned, and the old mug, was right there where it's always been. And it freaked her out because she's like, I know that mug was not there. We looked, we tore the kitchen apart looking for everything, looking for this mug. She goes, the kids, she threatened the kids and everything else. And she was angry because they had lied and this and that. And she goes, and all of a sudden, the mug just appeared. And she said, and the thing that freaked her out was the fact that she had been that way looking and then grabbed her new mug and was kind of like complaining in her head and poured the coffee and turned back and the mug was right there. And she was like, how did that happen? How are you supposed to say? It's a glitch in the matrix. Like, what are you supposed to say? You jumped timelines? You went back to the old timeline that you were in and your mug showed up? So yeah, so there you go, Lee. You've had it as well. All of a sudden, things are gone, you can't find it, and the thing is right there where you stop it. So those are little glitches in the matrix that happens as well. And it's happened to me. I mean, I don't know how many times my friend who loses her bank card daily, she must be jumping the matrix constantly because I've been there where she's looked and looked and looked, and it's always in the same spot. And she's looked and looked, can't find the bank card. She goes to the bank, makes a new bank card, goes back in her purse, and the bank card's right there. She's like, "How did this happen?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know." So it's an odd thing. So it's jumping timelines. It's all these, it's spirit sometimes hiding things from you to show you, teach you a lesson, or just to play around with you and see what you're doing. So they're all part of the matrix thing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how these things happen, and the fact that people still say that it's not true and this is all fake and everything and yet don't have an explanation for it just also boggles my mind. So does anybody else have any questions that they want to ask or anything that they want to know? Before I wrap this up, I'm also going to start now that summer's coming. I'm actually starting to get busier with a lot of stuff, so I'm going to probably be changing when I'm going to be doing my lives, just because it's starting. 7:30 is getting a little late for me, so I'm going to start probably dividing them up and maybe doing them a couple of days a week. So I'm still looking at my schedule to figure out what I need to do, how I can do this so that I'm not exhausted. Some spirit must be wearing my glasses. You can't find them. Maybe. Or someone is playing a trick on you. Actually, Dana, you know what? Go where you last saw them and ask for them to bring you your glasses back. It could be someone just playing a trick on you. Want to know something funny? As I noticed you were on live and joined, I'm making a coconut dessert, but ran out of milk. So I started wondering if I could use oat milk instead. And you started telling the story of the lady getting out of milk. Getting out. Yeah, you can go for it. Use oat milk. This, this is what it is. Happy desserts. Um, so, all right. Well, so we're just going to wrap this up. So whether it's a spirit sign, a time slip, or a little cosmic mischief, I hope you see that glitches in the matrix aren't just spooky, they're spiritually important. If you want to go deeper into intuition, connection with spirit, or just stay in the magical, weird vibe, I'd love to see you at an upcoming event. Up next time, up until next time, keep questioning reality and trusting your soul. So don't forget to like, share, and tag a friend who needs this. And if you're not already in the Spirit Lounge, which, I just changed it. Come and join the weirdest, most magical corner of Facebook. I just changed my group from it used to be called Bella's Inner Circle, and I decided to change it to the Spirit Lounge. So because we're going to be doing a few more things, I'm going to be doing different things there, sharing a lot more stuff on there. So in the I'm just in the middle of doing a lot of changes, so that's probably why I'm a little tired today. But there's going to be a lot of changes coming down, so I'm going to. So if you haven't joined the Spirit Lounge, by all means, go over and join it. If you know a friend or anything, share it with them, please, so we can get the community going. How do you know the proper way to ask? You just ask. You're like, hey, whoever took my glasses, can you please bring them back? Thank you for the joke. I love it, but I actually really need to see. So if you could please bring it back and place them on this table for me or wherever it is that you want, I would be greatly appreciated. And if you can't place them on the table, could you please show me where you left them or where they're at? I bet you any money they'll show up. So, have you checked your bedroom, like underneath your bed? I hope they're not like your reading glasses because, or you're like, they're all seeing glasses, which is kind of a weird thing, but the ones that you wear all the time where you can't, you need it to function. Dana. I'm assuming I'm talking to Dina. It says Dana and Keith. So I don't know if I should address you guys together. So I hope that helps out. There's a delay on here, so I'm assuming that Dana, you got your answer. Okay, well, I'm gonna end the the live, so I will see you guys next week. You're gonna try it. Awesome, amazing. Let me know if you find your glasses. Um, and I hope that you guys. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll post when my next live's going to be, and maybe switching days, just because things are starting to pick up and I'm starting to get busy. So I need to have energy to be able to do a lot of this stuff. So, and I don't want to be drained for a lot of the events that I have coming up because summer is a busy month for me. And also, I'm also at the Chrysler Theater, which I'm going to be in October. So people are starting to buy tickets already, which is great. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, get them because it's going to be something great that you guys can do in October, which is always, great time right before Halloween. It's great. All right. You guys have a great rest of your evening.